As an attacker, how would you fight this A long angle on the map Haven? The defender that we are fighting is positioned here on A long, peeking into the A main corridor. We as the attacker are about to peek this defender, so we may take the A bomb site. If we were to have absolutely no utility, how do we peek this? Well, your first thought may be to get as far away from the point of contact as you see on your screen to minimize the angle advantage that the defender has onto us, since we are closer to the point of contact than they are, meaning they will be able to see our body first before we will be able to see them. With us knowing this information, is this the correct way to peek this particular angle? Or is there something better that we can do? Well, let's find out. I believe there are one or two ways that we can peek this. Number one being, let's just swing this guy and pre-aim correctly. But if we do this, we have to run the chances that he will just straight up one-tap us because his crosshair is placed perfectly. So the risk, in my opinion, does not outweigh the reward. So how can we take this fight more into our favor? Well, there is one thing, and I say it a lot. Can you guess what it is? Dead zoning. Yeah, you heard what I said. I said dead zoning. Also, the craziest thing is obviously a lot of the walls in Valorant are paper, so if we do in fact dead zone this angle, you can take advantage of this cool trick that I learned from watching Ye, which is shooting at the edge of the wall, and I mean, you can basically get a headshot. Look, by doing this, you're practically immortal, so... or sorry, invincible, whatever, but you can't die, like, unless they just get extremely lucky. Now, if you don't know how to dead zone, watch the video that you see on your screen after finishing this current video so you can learn how to perform this mechanic perfectly. Now, if you didn't want to use this in this particular fight and you wanted to actually kind of like see the enemies on your screen when you shoot them, be sure to dead zone this angle until we throw off the defender's crosshair. The way we know that the defender's crosshair is thrown off is where the bullets land while they are shooting at us when we dead zone. If we look back and the bullets are hitting the wall, we want to keep dead zoning. If we keep dead zoning, we need to be careful not to be predictable. Dead zone the angle in random patterns, as you see on screen. But, ladies and gentlemen, if their bullets are going into the contact angle, which is the wall in front of us, then it's time to swing and go for the kill. If we swing to go for the kill, just be careful that the enemy bails from the fight and then re-swings catching you while you're in the open. So basically guys, don't crouch spray unless the enemy fully commits to the fight. This is what it looks like when the enemy bails. And this is what it looks like when the enemy commits to the fight. Now, just imagine if the roles were to be reversed. What if we were the defender fighting an attacker pushing out of the A main corridor? Well, we would pretty much do the same thing if we value our life. Let's use our brain energy and think about it. The first thing that comes to mind is we wouldn't need to be conscious of being exposed to other angles as a defender because, well, obviously attackers can come behind us and we don't kind of have an L-shaped corridor to where we're exposed to one angle and another. So as a defender, this is honestly easier than being an attacker. As a defender, you can choose to stay either 3 meters from the wall in front of you, which I kind of don't recommend in this situation. Or you can stay as far back until you hit the back wall. Just make sure that your movement isn't being slowed down by the wall. Typically, whenever you kind of like have your back up against a diagonal wall, it slows you down when you peek. But in this situation, I don't think it'll do that, but just be conscious of it in other situations. Now, as a defender, you have a choice. You can either contest the A main corridor itself or wait until they push past the corridor, entering into long. If you want to fight them immediately, to not let them push out the A main corridor, then you would fight this angle as you see on screen, and you can easily dead zone this angle. When fighting this angle, make sure not to peek out too wide, guys, because again, we have a wall where we could dead zone behind, but so does the attacker. For this angle in particular, there is no reason why we should ever wide swing or swing out past cover because it's just far too dangerous. So you literally just want to dead zone this angle and just get your kill if you can. Now, what if we want to contest them once they push past the A main corridor and they now enter the A long? Well, here, there's a little bit of an open space and they don't really have a solid wall to hide behind. So for this scenario, we would dead zone this angle, and yeah, you are allowed to dead zone. Once we throw off their crosshair, you could re-swing and commit to the kill. But the rules still apply as if we were an attacker. Only commit to the final blow if the enemies are caught committing to the final blow. But that's the secret. Dead zoning causes panic, and we use dead zoning to force the enemies to commit to the fight, so that way we can just make them look silly. And if you thought all these tips that I just taught you were crazy, you want to hear something else? Over 80% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and joining my Discord, where I offer 100% free coaching. If you want to be an absolute baller in supporting me, please consider becoming a Discord server subscriber, so that way I can keep getting you guys to Immortal, but full time. Now, if you kind of need to touch up your angle holding methods, then I would recommend to watch my general holding angles in Valorant video next, which you guys will see on the right side of the screen. But it's on the wow, and deuce everyone.